misquoting. What about this issue of inflation to you and cost of living? It's impossible, or core. We are really in a crisis.
No.
What's your reading?
The target inflation rate is about 5%.
That's the best we can now.
Yeah, that's a target.
Because again, it can go too low.
You need a reasonable inflation rate to keep the economy going.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might end up with a deflation.
Yeah.
So the target inflation rate is about 5%. I think we are close to about 6.5 or 7%.
Yeah.
And that is really...
So below 5, we should be worried.
Yes. So the inflation rate that is there is so beautiful. But then what drives the inflation rate? Food. It's mainly food and oil.
Yeah.
Now, what has made us lucky is that recently, the world prices of oil came down.
And it's been almost more than a year.
So that has helped us a lot.
Oil industry is my area, so that I can tell you.
On oil-induced inflation.
Yeah.
Now, on food, where we are likely to be solving the problem, and the Jubilee government is addressing this, is that there's a lot of focus on agribusiness, including the 1 million acre.
Yeah, it's about maize.
Yes, about maize, because for us, food is maize. If you don't have enough maize,
you are hungry. At that time, potatoes have nobody to buy.
Yes, we have that problem. So, as you look at the way the government is looking at the agricultural sector, including the Toyota company which has set up a fertilizer plant
in Eldoret. Yeah.
I mean, we can only become a better producer of food going forward. So, I would see the food-induced inflation is likely to become less and less.
If the fertilizer thing works,
yes.
If the Tana River project
things
work, the only direction would be down.
Yes.
But even now, before those projects come, if inflation is 6%, we cannot be doing badly.
No, we are not doing badly. We're not doing badly.
And especially that idea that if you go below, you suffer deflation and affect the economic growth.
Yes. And you see, when you look at our inflation, it is not an inflation as a result of mismanagement.
No.
It is cost push inflation. It's arising because costs that underline are going up.
Yeah.
If it was demand pull inflation,
where
you have got too much money chasing too few goods,
because
you have ended up pumping too much money in the economy, I would be worried, right? So the fundamentals of the cause of inflation is something that we can.
It's manageable.
It's something that we can contain, and as I say, I see the contribution of food to inflation going down as we go.
So therefore, to actually be crying that our cost of living is impossible doesn't make sense to anybody with the figures.
That's just crying wolf.
Of course, that does not mean that there are not people with their cost of their inflation being high. In the sense that if you insist on eating a food whose price is going up,
or living beyond your means,
you'll certainly be feeling the pinch.
Yeah, true.
But that's why we cannot rely on your inflation as a person. We have to rely on certain period of statistics, which looks at the average. Because
but what could be a small problem is the youth bulge.
Now that's now a separate thing from inflation.
It's a separate thing from inflation, but then when people say things are bad, it's a collective statement because there are more youth who are being churned out of schools
and they have no jobs. So let's then call it by the right name. It's unemployment.
Yes.
Among the things we need to be praying to God is how to sort out unemployment. And I was asked that question. I was being interviewed by a station called Elimu today, and they wanted to ask me, is the problem education? And I told them, we need to thank God for our education system. With all its weaknesses, if it is just intellectual education, the fact that Equity is sponsoring young people You have not heard of anyone who has failed. And they are going to Ivy Institute.
Yes.
And they did 844 because they are picked from poor people.
Yes, yes.
They were not in Lenanas and private school, McKinney, no. They came from our local high schools. And they go to Oxford, they go to Harvard, and they seem to do well. That tells you 844, its weakness is not mental, intellectual preparation. So that's not our problem. Our problem is attitudes. I told him, we have wrong attitudes. You believe, we taught our children that if you ulime usaidi, that's what we are told anyway. Usikokosa kulima utakaa hapa kama mimi. Work hard, you come out of the farm. So you go to tea estate, you go to coffee, they are lacking workers. There's a big demand for workers. But anybody who has gone beyond Form 4, they will be in Nairobi looking for work.
They will not give their labor.
I think that's what we call structural unemployment.
Yeah.
It's not lack of jobs in some cases, not in all cases. But the fact that that person knows in his home they are having to look for workers, but cannot be involved in it.
So
it may be partly due to our education system, not the intellectual type,
yes,
but the attitudes.
And also the skills kind of like teaching that we give them.
Yeah.
Because as you go through up to Form 4, you are not taught practical
problem
skills.
solving.
Yeah. And also practical skills where you can fend for yourself. You are taught to read. You are taught.
You are prepared for the white-collar jobs.
In fact, I was shocked. There's a conference I attended in Uganda about 4 years ago. And this guy shocked us seriously. He said to us, and I tend to believe that our education system prepares you for a white-collar job in the government, in the civil service.
Yeah.
When you fail to get that white-collar job in the civil service,
you are desperate.
You default into white-collar job in the private sector.
Yeah.
But the private sector has to train you for about a year or two.
Yeah.
In fact, about 2, so that you can be able to be productive.
Appropriate, yeah.
Because you are trained for a white-collar job in the government.
Now,
if then you were going to move out of that white-collar job and go to a brown-collar job or blue-collar job, you are not of trouble. Because you are going to learn new set of skills that you are not taught in school.
But a bigger problem is people who are taught those skills. In other words, somebody went through the famous technical schools. They still exist.
Yes.
But they will still look for a white-collar job. And they have skills which you think they should be using. Because he went through a polytechnic, he went through whatever, but he feels like it's failure to work in blue-collar.
Because...
But he has the skills.
Yeah.
Isn't that what TVET is working on?
That blue-collar job is not glorified.
He has skills, but he will not use the skills. Yeah. So there are people who are unemployed because the jobs available, they are not skilled for.
Yes.
But to me, the biggest problem we need to deal with is attitude.
Yeah.
So that if you have gone through a polytechnic, given skills, you do not feel like you are somebody below.
But who are the people who go to polytechnics? There are people who
dropped out because they never passed.
Yeah, they never passed. Whereas the way it should be is that if you are somebody who is good in your psychomotor skills, things on kono, you should naturally default into the polytechnic. And
you should be regarded
as a successful person.
Yeah.
But not now pretending you are scholarly. Because there are those who are scholarly, they are not good with their hands. And
isn't that part of how we change all polytechnic into universities?
That is what we are doing now.
But anyway, I hear the government has promised every constituency will get a polytechnic to replace the ones that were converted.
Yes, and the idea is to create another alternative route to a degree.
Yeah.
Such that you go through a polytechnic, and from there you are able to go to a technical university and get a degree.
If you must get a degree.
If you must get a degree. Yeah.
So unemployment is something you would have to admit. You know,
unemployment, poverty, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those are things we need to be praying about. But we need to be recognizing any effort and thank God for any effort. Like the idea of a technical college, and I hear, I don't know, 20 at a construction, even currently.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
MTCs are going to be in every county.
Yes.
All those are now answering the issue of skills. We will be producing people in each county who can employ themselves.
That is true.
If you have done pharmacy, you can just set up a pharmacy kiosk in your town.
That's right.
If you're a nurse, you can go to old people, nursing them, even if you don't get a job. So that is dealing with unemployment due to lack of skills.
Yes. And when you combine that now with the county structure, where the counties now have operations near the people, the people can relate what they can do and then sell that service or the goods nearer home, because the market has been brought nearer them.
So that we still have a problem of unemployment, but what is happening is likely to reduce it.
That's right.
Of course, the other problem is the fact that our attitude is that if you are a Form 4, you can't do many jobs. Now, the trouble is the transition rate from primary to high school. Are we told it is going beyond 70% now?
Oh yeah, it's quite high.
That means out of every 10 children, 7, 8 of them are going to high school. Now, you know that is blowing up the job market. They don't want to do the jobs that are available. So it becomes a big unemployment, structural unemployment, because what they want to do is not what is available. And then the universities have multiplied to last month or this month. This month I spoke at Chuka University, which is a new university. Do you know, I think I was told they have taken first years more than 4,000. We were actually could not fit in a hall. I was speaking to first years in the Jukwaa, the graduation square.
Because they are that many.
And I was told they are first years. I said, what? So we are going to produce more graduates who may not accept the jobs that are available.
That's right.
What would you say the government is doing that will help these graduates be channeled in?
Because